Hello, my friends. I hope your day is off to a good start. I want to talk to you a little bit about that last video I did this past Saturday, the one called The Joy of Makeup, or, how to elevate your day starting at the makeup mirror. The response to that video, your comments to that video were just blew my mind. I couldn't believe how so many people seem to be hungering for that kind of content here. So, you know what I thought I'd do? I thought I'd bring my next topic to you today, and I'm going to try to do it while I just go ahead and put my makeup on. So it'll be kind of a casual, getting ready. I'm going to try to keep the look really simple because I'm not so sure I can handle talking about a deep topic and doing my makeup at the same time, but I'm going to try. As you're going to see, it's going to be a pretty simple look. If I don't talk in depth about every product I put on, it'll definitely be listed in the info box below at least. But I don't know, I just feel like that last video, if you haven't seen it yet, maybe go give it a watch. I feel like it's just the tip of the iceberg with some of the thoughts that I've had. And it just made me realize that I want to offer more here. If I can give a nugget of something in a video that hits home with somebody and helps their day or helps their life out in some small way, it feels good to do that. So today's focus, the topic that actually just kind of popped into my mind just yesterday, is urgency and the value of slowing down. And I would like to make sure you know that I am not an expert at this. I'm not especially good at this. I'm kind of talking about this as much as like advice for my own self as it would be advice for somebody else. If you're a master at this and you want to drop some knowledge in the comments section for us all, feel free. But this is some stuff that I'm working on. Some of it I've gotten better at, but some of it I'm definitely a work in progress at. But just some things to think about where dialing back that rushed sense of urgency is concerned. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about just everyday life, but in the end, sum it up with some ways where I think maybe you can channel that sense of urgency into some positive avenues. So just some food for thought. We're going to get going here, and I'm going to use some IT Cosmetics CC cream today. This is in the shade Light. I'm going to pump out one full pump for myself, and I've already got a little bit of moisturizer on. I always like to start with this, not just as my moisturizer, but give it a little extra to go on underneath. But let's talk about controlling what you can control, okay? If you believe that you are in a practice of just living your life, focusing on, okay, I'm not gonna obsess over what I can't control, I'm gonna control what I can control. That's like a goal of mine that I try to live. But how many times have you been the sole cause of a super urgent kind of rat race feel in your life? We seem to think that it's being done to us when we're really just doing it to ourselves, We're really putting ourselves in that position where we feel like everything has to be done now and hurry, 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 and I'm just so busy and all that kind of mentality. I think we need to accept the fact and take responsibility for the fact that we're choosing that attitude to have. It's a choice. Sometimes I think we really glorify the sense of urgency, right? Oh, I'm so busy. There's so much to do. I'm always multitasking. I'm always juggling 1,000 things at a time. So many people kind of narrate their life that way. Do we not stop and think that a mind that's more still and more at peace is perhaps more effective than a mind that's trying to balance so many different things at once? Think on that. For those of you who want to feel really productive, I'm one of them. I love to get things done. Is your true effectiveness at those things taking a hit just because you want to have checked a lot of things off your to-do list? I'm calling out myself just as much as anybody here, my friends. Trying to make an effort to be more calm and more focused, taking it one thing at a time, not seeing every single thing out in front of you. Thinking about small steps in this situation helps. Like if you got a messy house, think about one room. Think about one part of the room, If you got a lot of work to do, think about that one task that you can do at first. Because the important thing is getting started on these things, right? It all begins with the beginning. Have you ever had something so looming and big and intimidating before you that you had to get done and it just kind of held you back from even starting? So see it smaller and see the small chunk that you can take on right now and do it now. And commit yourself and your full attention to that one thing. Oh, I'm dotting on some e.l.f. Camo Concealer right here. This is in medium sand, wait, no, this is light peach. Did I mean to pull out light peach? Okay, we'll just go with it. I think this is going to turn out a little lighter than I wanted it to. Sometimes I get lost between how the shades are different between the hydrating version and the regular, but I don't know. I know, I'm not trying to say that we don't have full plates sometimes where we just feel like there's a lot that has to get done, and maybe we didn't choose to put ourselves on a certain timeline that forced us into that. But If we can mentally find ways to take on the situations in a little bit smaller chunks, I think it's all about the mentality and seeing it as a less intimidating thing going on. Not seeing every single to-do in your mind and thinking, oh, what a busy day, but seeing the one at the top or the next one in line that you have to do, and mentally being fully there for whatever that thing might be. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm trying to get better at myself. I am going to be just kind of flowing through the rest of the face with my Cali contour palette. Like, I'm going to use this for everything. I'm going to be setting my under eye here. I'm going to be bronzing, contouring. I'm going to be blushing, highlighting, eyeshadows. Like, it's all going to happen from here. Here's another take on urgency. The sense of just wanting what we want right now. Do you think maybe technology is kind of doing this to us? The ability to have so much information and potentially answers or whatever at our fingertips, and it gives us this expectation that everything we want, we can get it now. Even just with like the entertainment you consume, you know, you don't like what you're watching right at this second, you can just, with a click of a button, be somewhere totally different in a second. Don't endure that another moment. Just switch to somewhere else that you need to be. Or you're just sitting around feeling bored. Heck, grab the phone. Let's see what's going on. Get your tech fix, you know? What has all this done to patience? You know, don't they say patience is a virtue or whatever? Patience is an important thing that we're supposed to have and practice, and don't our lives go along a little more smoothly if we've got a good sense of patience? But yet, sometimes just in our little everyday things that we do, like, we just want it to happen fast. And I do think technology is a big, like, just instant gratification machine, really. So patience is important, but if we lost our means of practicing it, and think about it this way, would you love your kids to be more patient? Do you sometimes ask them to be more patient? I know I do. Yet how do I personally practice any sort of patience? You know, like, I'm the adult here, but do I really try to get better at that? I don't know. Don't really think so, honestly. Okay, so I kind of set things for bronzing now. I tend to just kind of combine those two shades. But it's not always urgency in doing stuff, but it's also urgency in solving problems. Does anybody else out there like to solve it quick if there's an issue in your life? Like, you don't like to be simmering in that place where there's unrest, and you, like, if you're having a squabble with somebody, maybe a family member, maybe your significant other, you like to get that resolution now. That is me. I am that person. Something's going on. How can I fix it? How can I not have to sit in those feelings, you know, for very long? When really, who decided to have that feeling of unrest? I'll call it. Was that my decision to let that in? Yes, I did. How many times have you had a squabble with somebody and felt different about it by morning, let's say? There have been some times when Bub and I have gotten into it, even over little things. And I mean, you know, 3 kids and maybe a little lack of sleep, maybe some hormones, that'll do that to a person. It can turn some generally calm waters into a storm at times. Maybe it went from me just kind of nagging about something and, you know, just a little casual nag, just a little, hey, I'm feeling like throwing this out here. You know, I don't intend for it to turn into a full-blown argument, but just let me have my nag. But then instead of the person on the other side, let's call him Bub, absorbing it with like a big smile and a thumbs up, you know, he maybe takes offense at what I've said or gets upset about it, gets his back up, feels accused or whatever, and now you got a fight on your hands. Here's the important question. What's the value in hammering your point home for that all-important resolution, that urgent, you know, let's solve the problem kind of feeling? What's the real value here in trying to do that? Because have you ever tried to hammer your point home so hard, instead of bringing two people closer together and in better understanding, somehow it kind of like wedged you further apart because a little something dove in called temper. Here's something I'm really trying to let sink in that I heard from Wayne Dyer. If you are in a situation where you have the choice between being right or being kind, you should always choose kind. Okay, think about that. What does that really mean? Maybe it means shutting up for a period of time. Maybe instead of just talking, maybe some self-reflection. Control what you can control. We're trying to do that. Those would be your thoughts and your actions. Like, we think we are so propelled by the situation, but we do have control over what we do with those emotions, don't we? Also, maybe just go to bed, you know? Go to bed. Don't have that woe is me attitude that maybe you didn't come to your precious resolution. Go to bed with the positive mind that you will likely feel differently about this in the morning when the dust settles. We're all going to have disagreements. We're all going to have things where, you know, I don't like to fight with anybody. I don't like to have upset feelings, but we're all going to reach those moments where it's happening. And sometimes if you're like me and you're very much like a fixer and you're so hell-bent on getting that resolution, you're going to push your point, right? And maybe that other person not in the mood to hear that point at that time or not receive it in a good way at that given time. So if you give it all some time, that may be the very thing that it needs. And usually a little time does make a world of difference, and your sense of urgency needs to be absolutely tossed out the window. I need to put some blush on. I need some blush. Blush break. We're going to fully enjoy that blush. Yes. Sometimes when I do video topics that are kind of like this, I may or may not put my makeup on alongside it. You can let me know if how you feel about that. I just thought, you know, I don't want to leave the people who just kind of want the makeup application hanging. Even though, generally speaking, 3 videos a week on this channel, my friends. Come back for the pure makeup content all throughout the week. I'm going to do a little thing here where I take the matte powder and I mix it with the shimmer powder to give myself like a really mid-level kind of highlight that's also very brightening. Isn't that nice? Sorry, I just had to get myself to browse because that's really the point in makeup where I'm best at distancing myself from what I'm actually doing and just going off on a tangent. So now that I've mentioned a few ways where I think the sense of urgency is not so helpful, let me look at my notes and recap. We talked about the fact that urgency in the sense of getting a lot of things done at once and trying to be that all-important multitasker, and how sometimes maybe that's holding you back from actually being as effective as you want to be. We talked about a sense of urgency and just getting what we want now. Is technology, for example, zapping us of our ability to develop any actual patience with things? And then I talked about urgency in problem solving, in arguments, disagreements you may be having with somebody. We all have them, but is your sense of urgency actually getting in the way? So to sum this up, I would like to talk about some ways that I think urgency does have a place in our life. Let's be urgent when it comes to telling somebody we love them, you know, spreading positivity, having that thought in our head. I tell my girls this, I'm like, if you've got a nice thought in your head, don't let it stay in there. Put it out. That could be the thing that makes somebody's day, gives them a quick smile. You know, you don't know what the impact could be that it has. If you're thinking it, say it. Are any husbands over here in this right now? If you're thinking a nice thing about your wife, you sure as heck better go ahead and give her that compliment. Let me tell you, she can ride high on that for hours. If not days. Let's act with urgency when we see a person in our midst who needs help. You know, let's rush to hold that door. Let's try to help somebody carry that thing. Let's ask somebody if they could use a helping hand in a certain moment. Maybe it's harder right now as we're all trying to be real socially distanced and everything like that, but you know in your common sense when you see opportunities arise where somebody could use a helping hand, don't be slow to chip in. Let's be urgent when it comes to making a donation to a worthy cause. Having a good intention is one thing, acting on it and actually doing something is another. Have we all been there where we saw something and, you know, maybe the time wasn't just right, or we can make whatever excuse for why we didn't go ahead and then and there drop everything and make that donation or whatever it was. But you're not getting any credit for the nice thought that you just had about it. You know, you need to actually put it into action. Let's be urgent with the thank you notes or any expression of gratitude that you want to have for somebody who did something nice for you. Let's be urgent with making time to listen to someone else's problems. Being a listener, so much of what I'm hearing right now, the thing that I'm actually listening to, the audiobook, is Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life by Wayne Dyer. I've listened to several things from him. This one may be hitting home the most right now, and something that keeps getting reinforced to me through this is saying less and having the wisdom to know when to be silent, you know? And finally here, let's be urgent with saying a prayer when we're in that place of stress or unrest or I don't know what to do. You know, I always feel better after I just take time to be a little more still. And maybe it's not just a prayer for myself, maybe someone else I know about or something I've heard about, whatever it is, spending some time in a calm and prayerful state. Breathing deeply, like I talked about before, you know, that can help center you a little bit. So now we're making a whole eye look out of this palette, just because it's here and it's handy. It's gonna be real simple. As you can see, I'm taking that bronzer shade and I'm just putting it in my crease. I'm going to take a little bit of this shimmer. I'm going to pop that on the lid. Just that easy, folks. Sometimes I see people and I think their simplest look, like you can just tell the look was real basic on the eyes, and it can look so pretty. Don't feel bad if you don't get up in the mornings wanting to do an 8-step eye look, you know? It doesn't have to be that way every day. You can have a gorgeous eye with just some of the most basic things. It's not making a whole lot of difference, but I'm just putting a little bit of matte shadow there to kind of go beside my shimmer. A little bit of a matte highlight, how about? So friends, I'm just going to be curling my lashes, popping on some mascara here for this look. I am going to take my ABH double-ended pencil that I like to use and putting a little bit of that light shade in the lower inner rim and maybe dotting a little bit of the shimmer around the inner corner. I'm going to do that, and then I'll be back with a little bit of a sum up here and a lip. Okay guys, I've got my Lash Paradise mascara on there, and the look is almost complete. I want to go with a matte liquid lip today. I'm kind of just seeing how long different ones last, seeing what I like about this and that. This one's from Sigma, and it's in the shade called Awaken, and I'm not really sure if I'm going to like this shade or not, honestly, but we're going to put it on and see, because I got this pink shirt, and yeah, I think this is going to work. Try to go with the thinnest amount possible with any of these matte liquid lips, and I think you're going to like the way they feel better. But this is the kind of lip color where if you're in a place where you're going maybe between wearing a mask and not wearing a mask, you know, you don't have that transfer issue to worry about when the mask is on, and if you're in a mask off state, you know, you got your lip color. The other day, you know, took Belle to the dentist, needed the mask on, came home, wanted the mask off, still wanted to have a lip color. Okay, we need a little more blush. My classic last step. I am who I am, okay? Some things aren't gonna change. Yeah, just need that little extra bit of color. I hope you enjoyed this look. It was very easy. It was really minimal products. I mean, we did this CC cream, the e.l.f. concealer. I used this for powder, bronzer, blush, highlight, eyeshadow, brown mascara, the lip, and we're good. But I just want to sum this up by saying this. You know, if you are a person who has that go, go, go mentality, think about how you can funnel that into serving you in the most positive way. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be a get things done, want it done now kind of person, because I think many areas of your life can benefit from that. But think about the areas that can also benefit from some quiet, slow reflection, right? Think of how you can build up your own personal sense of patience. Think of what you can gain from stepping back sometimes and really thinking about not so much, oh, well, how that person's wrong, but think about looking inward. How am I processing this stuff? What am I letting it do to my internal peace, you know? And in our daily lives, just taking it one thing at a time a little bit more. Even if we know the to-do list is long and varied, we really truly only have 2 arms and 2 legs, so we weren't designed to literally do a bunch of things at once. So let's think about the one thing that we've got our hands in right now and give that our fullest attention and see maybe how much better we do at it. I don't know, that's just what I'm thinking about these days, guys. That's a thought that's been sort of working in my head, and it felt good to put it all out there with some hopefully somewhat logical points to follow here. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope your sense of urgency and me getting to the point didn't lead you to click away from the video, but hey, if you're listening to this, you're here. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye-bye. Oh man, I just gave the getting off the phone. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you guys. I will see you later. Have a great day.